This is Racelets INDYCAR Podcast. Here are your hosts, Fred and Sydney.
Hello, and thank you again for joining us here on Racelets INDYCAR Podcast. I'm Fred,
I'm Sydney.
and boy, what a show we have for you all in this episode covering the Long Beach Grand Prix. I don't know about you, Sid, but I'm still trying to recover from an amazing, exciting, but very exhausting weekend down at Long Beach.
Yeah, I am still super duper tired. But it was all so worth it. This weekend was incredible, and the post-race depression hits a little hard this time.
Yes, that is true. So much to discuss about this past weekend's 50th running of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. We have a new race winner here in 2025. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll recap the race. We'll go over the current standings and more. But first, Sid, our weekend didn't start on Friday. It started actually on Thursday.
Yeah, so we actually won a meet and greet and dinner with Arrow McLaren that Thursday evening before our race weekend.
Yes, this was an event that was put on by Mission Foods and Food for Less. It was a little gathering of fans that were selected as winners as well as employees of those companies for a little meet and greet of the Arrow team, which featured Nolan Siegel, Christian Lundgaard, and some other guy. You may have heard of him named Pato O'Ward.
So yeah, Mission Foods, along with a few other vendors, provided us the food and entertainment before the arrival of the drivers.
And those drivers arrived in some brand new, beautiful blue McLarens. That's when those in attendance were able to do a meet and greet and a little photo session with the drivers. That was a pretty cool opportunity. Again, that was our second time that we've been able to do that. And especially for my little ones, they love Pato, and they love the guys from Arrow. It was an awesome evening. My wife was able to come this time. She missed out the last time. And Sydney, you also had some special gifts you had made for the guys. You knew you were going to see at the event. And what did you bring?
Yeah, so you guys know we make bracelets or racelets for every driver. So, of course, we had to make some for them and hand them out. And we also made Pato a duck that had his PO sign on the front, his number 5 in the back, and a sombrero.
Yeah, you guys were very creative this week leading up. That painted duck is pretty cool. If you guys have a chance, please check it out. We've had it posted on our Instagram. If you look up Pato Award, you'll see it there that we gave it to him. Really cool little item. I'm very proud of my kids. They love IndyCar. They're passionate about the drivers. Sydney, you and I were quite busy all of last week with our crafts and bracelet making bonanza. That you had a little event within the race itself this weekend called Indycella. And in just a moment, we'll talk about that. That happened on Sunday. But that was all for Thursday. And then, we get home pretty late in the evening and had an early morning again Friday. Yeah, and, I had brought in all of my kids with me. I was brave enough to head down Friday with my 4 children and spend a fun day at what they call Free Friday. And it was a very busy Friday, maybe the busiest I've ever seen at the Long Beach Grand Prix on a Friday. Not much action on track. Practice didn't even start until after 3 o'clock. But we got there fairly early and walked the paddock and met some of the drivers and handed out some of the racelets that you had made, Sid. Tell us a little bit about the story with David Malukas.
Okay, so if you guys remember, last race weekend at Thermal, we had interviewed him, and I asked him what his passion for driving was, and he told me the Cars movie really, inspired him. So we kind of kept that in mind, and then we were at the store and saw these Cars, juice boxes with, Lightning McQueen on the top. So we thought it was perfect, and we had to go give that to him.
David was extremely excited, and he remembered exactly our conversation back at Thermal about the Cars movie and his inspiration to become a driver. And he had never seen these little sippy juice cups before, and he just was in love with them. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to drink this. It's only this much sugar and blah, blah,
There's so many
blah.
calories.
Yeah, only so many calories. Oh, this is going to be my pre-race drink." And it was pretty funny. You could check that out on David's Instagram, too. He had posted in his photo dump picture of that little juice that you brought to him, Sydney. These guys really do love the gifts that the fans bring them. There are so many fans here at Long Beach, especially this weekend. I think they had an attendance of over 200,000 for the entire weekend, which is just an incredible turnout. Most of these fans, Southern California natives, but there's also people that come from all over the country.
And not even just all over the country, all over the world. And the drivers love to see that. So leading into practice one,
Team Penske led the way with Will Power finishing P1 after the first practice session, something we haven't really seen
much.
Penske do this season. They had the speed early at practice this weekend. Maybe it was a sign of things to come for the Team Penske crew with Will and Scotty Mack looking to really make up some points as they've had some rough starts to start the season. Some other notables that were very fast in practice, Marcus Armstrong again, Kyle Kirkwood, keep that name in mind. We'll talk about him later. Newgarden was up there. He was P6 after practice one. Felix Rosenquist, no surprise, again fast. Alex Palou, Colton Herta, and Christian Lundgaard. That basically was how practice went. Not much action during that session. It was, again, nice seeing Team Penske putting up some fast times on track. Hopefully that was a sign of good things to come, like I said. After the practice session ended, about an hour or so went by, and then it was the autograph session, which they do on Fridays at Long Beach. I was so excited this year because a couple of days prior, we had received an email from IndyCar Nation that we had won front-of-the-line autograph session passes. Now, if you've ever been to Long Beach before, you know that it is just a zoo in the paddock when it comes to autographs on Fridays. There's really no order in this madness. Folks are lining up hours ahead in the team tent areas waiting for their favorite drivers. So I hadn't heard anything about where we were supposed to go or line up for this. So I reached out. Security had no clue about anything the entire weekend, which is no surprise. So then luckily I was able to get a hold of IndyCar Nation. They're like, oh, yes. Sorry, we meant to send out a text message to you. Actually, that's not going to work here at Long Beach. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, because they don't do it traditionally where they have the drivers lined up at a table and you just go down the line. That's how the front of the line passes work at every other track besides Long Beach. It's crazy. But she's like, well, what we could do is we can get you to the front of one of the teams. I was like, well, okay, that was fine. It was just a mob mentality in the paddock area. Sid, give me a description of what you saw down there.
Well, I mean, this is honestly no surprise, but the giant crowd and swarm of people that surrounded the Aero tent was actually insane.
Yeah, they had people saying that they had been there for 3 to 4 hours waiting. Like all they came down for was just to see Pato, I guess. A lot of other great drivers out there. The line for Chip Ganassi wasn't terribly long, and you've got a 3-time champion, and then you also have the GOAT, Scott Dixon, that you could have gotten in that session. A lot of cool things that went on. My kids were very lucky. They did get to see a majority of the drivers and meet them and give them their bracelets and got their photos with them and stuff like that. Overall, it was a great day, very exhausting, got home late, just to turn around and do the same thing Saturday morning.
Yeah, so we got there very early Saturday morning, which worked out good because practice 2 started at around 8.
Yeah, nobody was really down at track that early in the morning, so we were down in pit row area. We spent a lot of the morning in the Pato Award box and then with Will Power down in his box watching practice. Again, Team Penske very fast. Will was P4 in session 2. Biggest surprise was Nolan Siegel. He finished the session P1. Joseph, again, was up there. So we were really thinking, this is going to be the weekend Team Penske is going to turn the table. This is going to be the weekend somebody's going to beat Alex Palou.
Yeah, and we were even talking about it with Kyle Kirkwood on Friday during autographs. We were like, someone needs to beat this 10 car.
Yeah, I had a really good feeling that Kyle might be the one to do it. He's won it there in the past. We'll see what happens. So that led us into qualifying, and those Penske cars that were so fast in
All practice.
both practices,
Yeah.
did not advance in their session and make it into the top 12. Will finishing P7 in the session with just a tenth of a second from making it into that sixth spot. Joseph right behind him in eighth. And this is the third time this season now that Will has not made it to the top 12 in qualifying. The guy who has the record for P1s at 71 has not even made it into, the next stage of qualifying. Sydney, what's the problem?
I honestly have no idea. I've wanted that question answered myself.
Yeah, super fast. What we did hear was that there may have been some issues on track with gapping. Possibly that 60 car had something to do with it, a Felix Rosenquist. Don't know for sure, but for both Penske cars who were extremely fast to not make it was a huge disappointment. And, you got to move on.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to work their way up the field.
Yeah, they're not doing themselves any favors by qualifying poorly, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. Quali round 1, group 2. Kyle Kirkwood, P1.
Yep, Kyle Kirkwood, P1. Again, he won the Long Beach Grand Prix on pole 2 years ago. So he's had the speed there. What do they call him? The street ninja or
the street mechanic?
The street mechanic. He is so good on street courses, and he proved it with his fast time, qualifying P1 in that second group in session 1. Scott McLaughlin, though, did qualify for Team Penske, so it was great to see a Penske car finally getting in and qualifying well. Any other notables that did make it, sis?
We also had Nolan Siegel getting P4 and making it on to Fast 12.
Yes, he was up there. Lewis Foster, pretty decent as well. He finished 10th in the group of 14, so he was going to be starting pretty good. He had some pretty good lap times, but wasn't forced out as the big boys got their tires in and really laid the rubber down. Scott Dixon just on the outside looking in. He finished P7 in that session. Alexander Rossi finished P6, so he did qualify and make it into the Fast 12.
So going into round 2, we had all 3 Andretti's, both Meyer Shanks, all 3 Aero guys competing so you could make Fast 6.
Yeah, it was crazy. Really good job by all those guys. Christian Lundgaard was tracking for P1 going into that last lap of his on qualifying. Didn't end up so well. Hit the tire barrier, ended up P12. His car was very fast, as we see later on Sunday what had happened with him. But he was tracking to get in that top 6. None of the other McLaren cars did make it up there, but you did have 3 Andretti cars.
Yeah, we also had Scotty Mack in there, Felix Rosenquist, and no surprise at all, Alex Blow.
Yep, Alex did qualify again. So the top 6 were Kyle Kirkwood, Colton Herta, Alex Palou, Marcus Ericsson, and Scott McLaughlin, followed by Felix Rosenquist. That was your top 6. Now this is where the big boys came to play. You got to qualify well at Long Beach.
Yeah, and that's huge because most of the people who have won pole in qualifying have also gone on and won the race.
Yeah, Long Beach is a very tough course, very bumpy, lots of turns, a lot of passing, a lot of crashes, lots of yellows. So it was very important to get on pole, get through turn 1 clean, and then get your strategies in order. You have a great chance of winning that race. Kyle Kirkwood proved just that, winning P1 again, the second time in 3 years. He would start at the head of the pack. It was Colton Herta, his teammate, with an Andretti lockout of the top row. Alex Palou, P3. Rosenquist, P4. Another solid outing for Felix. He has been qualifying outstanding this season. A lot of good stuff out of him. Marcus Ericsson, the trifecta for Andretti is at P5. And Scotty Mack, who was in P1 until the last 30 seconds or so of that qualifying session, ended up in P6.
Yeah, so that concludes qualifying for Long Beach. After that, we went and headed into the convention center and met quite a few IndyCar legends.
Yes, we did. We met Paul Tracy, who was my favorite driver growing up as a kid. It was nice to tell him that now you are such a big fan. We did make him one of our special bracelets as well. Also saw little Al Unser Jr., and the legend himself, Mario Andretti. What did you think about that, Sid?
It was so cool. I've never got to experience them racing, but getting to meet them in person was honestly so cool.
Yeah, they were all very receptive of your bracelets that you had given them. It was a really cool moment, a moment that you can capture, especially here at the 50th Grand Prix. It just felt different. Really cool. I'm glad you were there to witness this with me. Saturday ended with an awesome concert put on by Foreigner. How'd you think about that?
Yeah, it was really cool. There was a lot more people there than I expected.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people were there, young, old, everybody. You can think of really good concert, epic cap to an epic day of racing down at the track.
Yep, so long day. We headed home, went straight to bed just to do the same thing again Sunday morning.
Yeah, it felt like Bill Murray in the movie Groundhog Day. You just get up at the same time at 5 a.m. every morning. Took about an hour and a half to drive down to Long Beach from where we live. And we were there bright and early again Sunday morning for the warm-up session. The warm-up session was pretty good, quite surprising. Graham Rahal was the fastest in that warm-up session.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw
Really good for him.
Yeah, very good for him. Maybe that would carry over into the race. Joseph Newgarden, also very fast in that little warm-up session as well. So that concluded. It was time to head down to the grid for the national anthem as the cars made it onto the track.
Yeah, and a huge thank you to Ben Christian for letting us get out there with the Aero McLaren number 5 car and Pato during national anthem and getting to witness the flyover from being on track.
Yeah, that was just incredible. Had the chills going down my body when those F-18s flew right over our heads. So cool. That grid was extremely packed. The most I've ever seen it down at Long Beach. I can't believe they let that many people down there. A lot of them were all hovering around that 5 car.
Yeah.
Very crowded. One thing I want to mention, though, as I got home later that evening, I rewatched the race, and I was extremely disappointed that for the second time, Fox broadcast cut away from the national anthem. Specifically, this time, with it being the 50th anniversary of Long Beach, they had some special introductions. And then the flyover, that's just all part of the racing experience. That was one thing that I really liked that NBC Sports, when they were doing their broadcast, was covering everything like wire to wire. Fox, I've seen the last couple of times, at the thermal, they cut away from the national anthem as well. Those are all things that, if you're a racing fan, if you're watching it from home, that gets you into the spirit, that gets you into the mood.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed that Fox didn't do it again, but hopefully, they'll learn and maybe they'll do it going forward at Barber. And, if you cut away from the national anthem at the Indy 500, you're going to have fans pissed off.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was horrible. Go
Yeah,
back.
horrible. So, race time.
Yeah, so what really surprised me was that this race, all 90 laps, was green. Especially nothing on turn 1.
Nothing. Nobody missed a turn. There were no incidences of any bumps. Nobody hit any walls. Not one caution. Second race in a row where it has gone completely wire to wire under green flag conditions. You know what? I would have loved to have had a caution at some point later in that race, but this was Kyle Kirkwood's race to lose, and he led this thing from wire to wire.
Yeah, whole time just trying to hold off the gorilla Alex Palou.
Alex, we thought it a few times was going to be catching up to him, cut his lead down to less than a second at one point, and then on their pit strategies just weren't able to calculate it correctly where they were able to get out in front. And, Kyle took advantage of that, and they were very good, extremely fast. Congratulations, Kyle Kirkwood. He is your Long Beach Grand Prix winner, the 50th anniversary, the second time he's gone from pole in the last 3 years to win Long Beach. I'm going to mention something real quick here. There was a bright spot in this race that had everybody caught off guard as Stingray Robb was leading for about 12 laps?
12 laps, yeah.
That was incredible. We were all thinking to ourselves, what if Stingray
wins his first IndyCar race?
Could Stingray actually win this thing? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Honestly, it would have been so good for him. He's not my favorite, but I would have loved to see him up there. Honestly, I think that'd be so cool.
Oh, that would have been the biggest upset. That's like Leicester City, winning Premier League or something like that. The odds of Stingray winning the Long Beach Grand Prix over those other guys would have been pretty incredible odds. He didn't win, however. He did finish, though, in the top 10, P9. Congratulations, Stingray. Wonderful performance. But Kyle Kirkwood wins from pole to pole. He's doing the safety dance, men without hats. I was doing that in the crowd as well. Alex Palou finishes P2. Wow. Somebody beat him for once.
Oh, yeah. Great starts to the season for him, Back-to-back wins and then a podium. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Alex now sitting with still a very comfortable lead in the season. 34 points over Kyle Kirkwood, who's now sitting in second.
Yeah.
To round out the podium, the number 7 car of Arrow McLaren, Christian Lundgaard.
Yeah, that's another P3 back-to-back for him, which is looking really good.
Yeah, outstanding job. Christian was a little off strategy on the tires, and that proved to be in his favor as he, ended up on podium for the second straight race. So it went Kyle Kirkwood, Alex Palou, and then Christian Lundgaard. And those are now your top 3 in the series as well. Finishing P5, congratulations, Will Power. Another good performance. Qualified poorly, but finished and worked his way up to a P5 position. He's slowly getting up that leaderboard. Scotty Mack, his teammate, finishing P6. He started 6th, ends up in 6th. So good performance for both of those guys as well. Fastest rookie out there this weekend, Lewis Foster. What can we say? That guy is proving to be a very good driver for the RLL team. Something that I don't think we can say about one of those members, Devlin DeFrancesco. Another incident with him. That's back-to-back weeks. How much longer is RLL going to put up with this?
I have no idea, and I don't think they should put up with it any longer. If I were them, I'd be done.
I'd be done too. Toby Sowery and Yuri Vips, both backup drivers for that RLL team. I hope that at some point we do see them jump in. I don't know how much longer you can go on with this. I'm sorry, but that's a grenade that you've been handed, and unfortunately, it's blowing up right in RLL's lap.
Yeah, also in the top 10, Felix Rosenqvist finishing P4, Colton Herta P7, Scott Dixon 8, Stingray again 9, and Simpson 10.
Congratulations, Kiffin Simpson, his first top 10 finish. The biggest mover of the day was finishing P11, starting dead last, Santino Ferrucci. Congratulations to him. Finishing and getting the biggest mover award. So that wrapped up the race down at Long Beach. As we look now, the current standings on the season are Alex Palou with a pretty big lead at 142 points. Kyle Kirkwood in second with 108. And in third right now, Christian Lundgaard. Felix Rosenqvist, fourth at 88 points. Scott Dixon. Pato Award drops down the leaderboard. He's now 62 points behind with 80. Not a very good performance from
Mm-mm.
Pato this weekend.
No, yeah. And I know he's disappointed with his finishing. He hates this track, so I'm hoping better from him in Barber.
Yeah, we can only hope for better for Pato. Been a rough start. He did have that good finish where he lost the race, though, unfortunately, at Thermal. Got to bounce back. That was not the performance he needed with that momentum. Team Penske does have all three of their drivers, though, in the top 10. Scotty, Will, and Joseph sitting 8, 9, and 10. Colton Herta in 7th. And then just outside the top 10, Alexander Rossi. Good weekend for him. Could have been better. He's very good at this track. He had a really good feeling coming in that this was going to be his weekend. Unfortunately, the cards didn't line up and go his way.
Going back to Kyle Kirkwood, 2 years ago, you said when he won pole, you had him autograph a picture with P1. So we thought, let's do it again. He got pole. That ended up working out again for him, winning the race. Also, maybe it was him giving us the bracelets this time. We gave him a bracelet, and he was like, oh, I have one for you in return, and gave one to all of us, which was so cool.
He gave one to all of your sisters. Good things come. It was all a sign, I think. Kyle, even on Friday, when we said somebody's got to beat that 10 car, I was talking to him, and I said, I think you're going to be the guy to do it. Congratulations, Kyle. Awesome seeing you win again. Somebody other than Alex Palou has now won a race. Let's make this a season. The season isn't over yet. We've still got many, many races to go. Podium experience was pretty cool. Sydney, 2 weeks in a row or 2 races in a row, rather, where a driver has thrown a hat from the podium and you have caught it.
Yes, big thanks to Alex and Kyle throwing hats at us this weekend. It's so cool. Like, you're standing there and they just tossed it at the same time, too.
Yeah. That was a really cool experience. If you haven't done that before, it's something that you really got to do. Check out IndyCar Nation. Sign up for the membership. And you have a possibility of winning Victory Circle photo opportunity. And you get to go down there when they spray the champagne, hand out the trophies. It's a party. It's fun. Really cool experience. I'm glad we were able to be there for that for the second time already this season. Huge, huge, huge thumbs up to Kyle for winning this week's race. We did give Kyle a thumbs up trophy back at Thermal. He still has that. We took a picture with him up on the podium after the race, and we all gave a big thumbs up. That was pretty cool. Unfortunately, Sydney, he had some words to say to you as well.
Yeah, he was a little disappointed in me that I was wearing my Pato hat and shirt. He's like, she's wearing the wrong hat, though. But it was still so cool to be, like, right next to him and get a picture with him on the podium.
Yeah, giving him a hug with his champagne-soaked suit was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sydney, you had an experience this weekend. This weekend also was a weekend of the Masters Golf Tournament. We had NASCAR races. We had F1 races. We also had Coachella going on out in the desert. But Sydney, you guys had an event this weekend. What was that?
Yeah, so even better than what Coachella is, we had Indychella. So big thank you and shout out to Sarah and Emily for planning this meetup. I got to meet so many different women involved in motorsports, hand out bracelets, take pictures. It was so incredible.
An incredible experience. I think there may have been 40 to 50 women all at this meetup. Not everybody's from Southern California, like we were saying. There were people from all over the country. We had people from New Mexico, from Florida, from Indiana, Kansas, you name it. These girls love motorsports. They love their IndyCar, and it is so cool to see it take on this Taylor Swift Swifties bracelet, friendship bracelet exchange thing. It is really so cool. We came away with some really cool gifts, met some really awesome people. I'm really proud of you, Sydney, going out there. This is what you love to do.
Yeah, so same time next year, guys?
Yes, we will like to do that again. Hopefully again at another track this season. we're hoping maybe we can get out to at least a couple of more.
Yeah.
Any other shout outs you wanted to give out this weekend, Cindy? Any other memorable experiences?
Yes. A huge, huge shout out to Pato's sister, Elba. She's literally the sweetest person ever. And she spreads her kindness everywhere she goes. So we met her at Thermal for the first time. The sweetest. We were talking about women being involved in motorsports and everything. And then we saw her again on Friday during autographs. Gave her some bracelets. She absolutely loved them. And then I ran into her Saturday in the convention center. She was walking in with Pato. He had some sort of like signing thing to do. And I felt so bad because I stopped her and there's this huge crowd. But she was the sweetest. And I gave her a picture that my little sister had drew for Pato. And she thought it was the cutest thing ever. She's like, oh my gosh, I have to give this to him. And then Sunday morning, I get a DM from her. And she had Pato take a picture, the drawing that my sister did. And it was just, I honestly started tearing up because it was like, there's no way she just sent me this. Like, this is the sweetest thing ever. So she really is like the kindest person.
Yeah, yeah. As a father, I even teared up a little bit once I saw her when she took that picture of Pato. He's in his hotel room and he's holding up this little picture that my daughter Lily drew for him. She's been holding on to that for so long, and she's such a huge fan. All of my family are huge Pato Award fans. We love the Award family. You guys are amazing. We love everything
The
you
kindness
do.
runs in their family. Like,
The kindness runs in their family. It also runs throughout all of
the paddock,
IndyCar.
yeah.
Sydney, who else did you meet this weekend?
We also met another angel, Liz Power. She's also so sweet. We spent practice 2 and qualifying with her in Power's pit box. And we
Yeah.
were
Yeah, it was really good. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
That's
off there,
okay.
Sid. It's not the first time we've met Liz Power. We've met her a few times. Anytime we've been at a race, we've met her and said hi and made her bracelets and stuff like that. But I thought it was the cutest thing that she held on to you, and you were like her little emotional support person during qualifying. She was so nervous with Will. It didn't go his way, unfortunately, but you were there by her side. It was a really cool experience.
It was.
You know what was really cool too is that 100 Days of Indy was doing a special on Will this weekend. They were doing a lot of video recording in that area. There's a good possibility you might be on one of these episodes next to Liz Power. I thought that was pretty cool.
No, yeah, I agree. That's really cool because they were like, we gave her some bracelets because again, we've seen her before. She's so sweet, so we gave her bracelets, and they were zooming in on the bracelets on her arm, which was so cool.
Yeah, especially you had just given those to her.
Yeah.
Very cool. Again, another awesome IndyCar family. We love the Powers. You guys are awesome. Really cool. Another big person you wanted to meet this weekend and you were able to was Ashley Newgarden.
Yes, we met her in the Penske garage. She was so sweet. She was just walking out, so I felt bad stopping her. But we'd given her a bracelet, taken a picture, and she was the sweetest. Like, all the wags are so sweet.
Yeah. The WAGs. What does that stand for?
Wives and girlfriends.
Okay. See, I don't know what this stuff is. I'm glad you're giving me the new information, Sydney. A couple other people we wanted to shout out to. Jake Query, IndyCar Radio. We saw you. It was great to see you again. I hope you enjoyed the bracelet that Sydney made for you as well. Took a picture with you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me hold the
Yeah,
microphone.
you're holding the IndyCar Radio microphone.
Yeah,
I thought you
that's
were
pretty cool.
about ready to do a broadcast. I think you do have that in your future. That's for sure. Also, Jonathan Grace. What an awesome kid. Great to see you, Jonathan. I hope you enjoy your racelet as well. Awesome interview you did with Kyle right after winning that race as well. What an awesome guy. This whole IndyCar family.
Community, like
The community is amazing. You don't see that anywhere else. You know, you've got some great fan bases in professional sports, but when you actually have the fan bases and the actual participants all
involved
and so, gracious and loving, it is so cool. I love IndyCar. I wish, we were able to go to more races and build these relationships. I'm glad we are starting this process right now.
Yeah.
You're getting your feet wet. We're doing this podcast. hoping we can attract some listeners. This is your passion. You love IndyCar. I see a future for you down the road, Sid. Um,
Yeah, I really hope so.
yeah, absolutely. Anybody else you want to mention?
Um, we were leaving the paddock Sunday after race, and we ran into Scott Dixon and his wife. She's also so sweet. We were able to take a picture with her, and she was just so kind to us.
Yes, thank you, Emma Dixon. You were awesome as well. I think one of your biggest fans this weekend and the weekend before is Ricky Davis, the crew chief
Yes.
of Chip Ganassi, number 10, Alex Palou car. This guy is an amazing individual. I know you don't have social media. I hope you can get and listen to this podcast, Ricky. You're awesome, very loving, supporting of my children. We just loved your enthusiasm that you and showed us, and you embraced us, and the conversations we had. We were so close to winning that again with Alex. I kind of had a feeling it might go that way. You guys
Still
are just
got the
so damn
podium,
good. Yeah, don't be angry with second place.
No. And thank you so much for the giant hug after the race. It's so cool when you've gotten just over like one race close to a crew member. Like I think that's an awesome experience.
Yeah, these people actually care. You give your vested interest in them, and they are very receptive and uh, reciprocate very well. It's an awesome experience. You're only 15 years old, Cindy. You've got a great future ahead of you. If you want to get into, a career in IndyCar, you're making all the right connections. You're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, and going on from that, a huge shout out to Crystal and Hannah, Arrow McLaren and Andretti's social admin. You guys were so sweet to me this weekend. And you guys are like my biggest inspirations, and I hope to be doing what you guys are doing someday.
Yeah, so cool. As Sunday ended and the day went on, we're exiting the paddock area as the teams are getting ready to pack up and leave. And once you exited the area, you weren't able to get back in. And a little funny story happened uh, with that, as a member from a team was denied access.
Yeah, yeah, and it was really funny because they were only allowing team members into the paddock, but then when Scotty Mack's race engineer tries to go join his team and pack up and get ready to leave, Ben Bretzman, they don't allow him in. He shows the credentials and everything, still not letting him in.
No, he pulls out an IndyCar steering wheel, Scotty Mack's steering wheel, out of his bag. He's like, I have a steering wheel in my hand. Will Power is on the other side of the fence. He's looking to leave to get to the hotel so he can pack up and go. And he's like, oh, I don't know that guy. I don't know who he is. Oh, I've never seen him before. Just so funny. A lot of great things to take away from this weekend. The security,
Not the best.
it's not the best. They can get some things under control. Crowd control would be one of the things, especially in the paddock. But an awesome weekend, 4 amazing days that we spent down in the Long Beach area. I love Long Beach. I've been going again since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I love taking my kids down there now, even my young ones. They can't make it to the race, but taking them down there and experience practice in the cars on track and meeting their drivers is just so cool.
Yeah, and it's an experience to remember. Like Long Beach is our home race, so everything that has happened, even this just past weekend, will be memories that we'll have and carry forever.
Absolutely. So again, Kyle Kirkwood wins the Long Beach Grand Prix. The next race on the docket is in a couple of more weeks. We have to wait again. Thank you, IndyCar, for this awesome schedule you've given us. But it's Barber Motorsports in Alabama, where Scotty McLaughlin won there last year.
Pretty decent record there for him.
Yeah, he's got a great record there. I would love to see Penske get back on track, especially Scotty. Get on the podium, turn this thing around. The Thirsty Threes are thirsting for a victory. Should be a fun race. We'll have a preview before then, hopefully. If not, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Fred.
I'm Sydney.
And this is Racelets IndyCar Podcast. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. You can also find us on Spotify You can also look for Racelets IndyCar podcast on Instagram as well, posting a lot of photos. We talk nothing but IndyCar on there. Please give us a like and a follow. We'd love to share with you guys. If anybody is interested in some of the bracelets that we make as well, please give us a DM or email. We'd love to be in contact with you and get some out your way. Thank you so much. Have a great night.